Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to the next reaction to Supernatural Season 6. The last episode that we watched together was called Like a Virgin, which was a fun episode after the mid-season finale about these dragons that were capturing these virgins to kill them, and we found out why towards the end, which we'll talk about in a second. But that episode was so good because, not that it was the best episode of the season by any means so far, but it was just so good in the sense that Sam was back. We had our Sam soul back intact, back to the Sam that we know and love from the earlier seasons of the show. I think I said it at the end of the last episode, but whilst I've enjoyed Season 6 a lot, because Sam's not been himself, it's always felt like there's something a bit missing. Sam and Dean, to be fair, they're always at odds in the show. That's just their natural state of play with each other. But because they were so different from each other in terms of what they wanted, it felt like there was something missing from the season a little bit, because Sam was just not being himself, not supporting his brother, which even when they're fighting each other, they support each other. And Dean was doing one thing, Sam was doing another thing, and it just felt like there was something missing, which they've now got back. Last episode really felt to me like an older episode of Supernatural, so I really enjoyed it for that. But then the end of the episode happened, where we found out what's probably going to be the push for the next part of the season at least, which is these dragons were capturing these virgins to sacrifice one to open up the door to purgatory. In this cave, the fire at the bottom, they threw her in, they opened up the door to purgatory. And it wasn't just to get to purgatory, it was to get something out of purgatory, to release something from purgatory, which we now know is called Mother. And we saw the woman that got thrown in levitate out of the pit, red eyes, fiery hands, fiery feet, I think it was, and said, they've got work to do, let's get started. But there was just an aura about her that was really spooky and dominant and threatening. So I'm excited to see more about her and what she's here for, who she is, what Mother refers to, and all that kind of jazz. So this episode is episode 13 of season 6, and it's called Unforgiven. Unforgiven. I don't know what that could be about. Maybe it's going to be a Monster of the Week episode, but what it could also be about, which I'm kind of hoping, is that we find out more about this Mother character, who she is, what she's here for, what her goal is, and how I believe it's ultimately going to come into contact with Crowley in some form. Because I just don't believe when he was looking for purgatory and all that storyline with him, that's all gone. Now, I don't think he's going to come back in the season yet. I feel like if he's going to come back to life, it's going to be towards the end of the season. But I'd be interested to know if those two storylines are going to converge somehow. Might not be in this episode, it's probably not going to be for a while yet, but let's jump into the episode to find out what it's about. If you enjoyed the video, please leave the comments down below, let me know what you thought of the episode. Please subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and please take a look at the Patreon link down below to watch the full reactions to this episode, every episode of Season 6, the last few episodes of Season 5, and over on Patreon we're a bunch of episodes ahead of YouTube at this point, so we might be almost finished with the season. Who knows? Let's jump into Supernatural Season 6, Episode 13, Unforgiven. Bristol, Rhode Island, a year ago. Hello, Sammy boy. Samuel, my favourite character. Maybe this episode's going to be about something that he did without a soul, that he has to forgive himself for.
Oh, we spoke to Dobbs earlier. Maybe he's just,
Is that blood?
Yes.
You're gonna arrest 2 federal agents. Really?
You are covered in blood though, so... yeah.
Have a good night.
If you think...
Hey, just...
Don't do it, Sam. Don't kill him. He's innocent. Dude. Oh my god. He just snapped that guy's neck.
There are maybe calmer ways we could have done all that. Do we care? Let's go.
Jesus. I mean, Samuel was just as much at fault by just standing there and going, he just killed that cop. Cool. But, that's awful. And now you can see why I missed having our Sam back.
You got anything else on this mother of all thing?
No, nothing solid.
Oh. So, okay.
These coordinates? Where's it from?
I have no idea.
Well, that's not a good sign, is it? Just random coordinates being sent to you. Hell to the no.
Bristol, Rhode Island.
Oh.
3 women disappeared in the last week.
Oh, Lord, don't go back there.
The
You got mysterious coordinates from a mysterious Mr. X leading to a mysterious town that doesn't throw up red flags to you?
I don't know, maybe. But that doesn't mean we can just ignore a bunch of missing girls.
There's lots he doesn't remember from his past year, so...
Okay.
This kind of reminds me of episodes of shows. There's always like one in most shows where someone's lost their memory and has to figure out what they did in the past 24, 40 hours, whatever it is. They don't remember.
What?
So this is a longer period of time.
This one's got a little bit of a wild side. It's on the eyes, Sam. See it?
Agent Rourke?
Oh God.
It's good to see you again.
Demons.
It is.
Oh, you remember my husband?
Maybe not demons.
Right.
I feel like they're demons.
Don.
Of course, right. Hi.
You're back because it started again, right? The disappearances.
What's that mean?
Yeah, right.
Eat a whole 72-ounce stuff and stuff. No thank you. No thank you. He's going to see Sam.
Where's your partner?
Did he see Sam?
The big bald guy? Agent Wynand, right?
Agent Winan, of course. Well,
Sex rehab. Yeah, you've heard of plushies, right?
this is my new partner.
Oh. Oh, Sam. Yes. Same. I mean, there is plus sides to the older Sam that we just lost.
She just cougarized.
There's a lot more
I think Samuel and I have worked a case in this town.
dominant.
You think? There is a reason that hunters don't hit the same town over again. Because we have a habit of leaving messes behind.
Right, I
It
agree.
is true, though.
One of Dad's rules, you never use the same crapper twice.
Everyone uses the same crapper twice.
One of Dad's rules.
Okay, look.
I don't know why that took me
is
so
still
much.
walking around because of me. What's happening here right now? It's because I messed up. Somehow, in some big way. So every person who gets taken, every person who dies, that's on me. I have to stop it. And you do the same thing.
I'm going to say it again, like, as much as the older Sam, as we saw in that bathroom scene, was very sexy. Holy moly.
Follow up with the brunettes.
I
You see
prefer
what you
this
get from the
Sam.
gobs.
It's nice to see that he
So-
cares.
Oh, Nicole got that from that FBI guy.
Agent Rourke. About
So
38
he's spoken
Yeah,
to her
that was him.
before.
Oh, he came by a few times.
Did he?
What does that mean?
To
Having-
just the tone or the nature of their conversation.
Well, loud. And athletic.
I mean, Sam got around in his bad year.
Right there! Stop! Right there!
I think I'd be all over that too.
Hands where I can see him!
Oh, maybe he's not
Get in my
dead.
car or you're under arrest.
I thought he snapped his neck.
No, sir.
You ran out of town, soaked in blood. Oh, and you bashed my brains in to do it? And you really expect me to buy that?
I'm glad he's alive.
That I don't remember anything.
If it's him.
But good luck selling it to the judge.
I know who you are, Sam. I know what you do.
What's happening?
What?
Who's this person then?
You actually hunt things.
We know how it sounds.
Oh.
I'm not sure you do.
You saw those crime scenes,
They
Will.
told him the
You
truth.
really think something human could have taken those guys?
What you're saying? It's impossible.
Your husband. He's the sheriff.
Was the sheriff. Until he vanished. And you vanished. What was I supposed to think? That that thing got him? Or that you killed him?
I have no memory of being here. Ever.
What is this, days of our lives? Telling me you have some sort of amnesia?
If I knew any of this, would I have stepped foot into this station?
That's true.
I'm sorry.
Scared the crap out of me. Okay.
Just spoke to a roommate. I gotta say, man, you really got around. I mean, soulless or not, I'm
said
actually kind of
that?
impressed.
But he's a big honky muscly
Okay,
slab
all
of
right, I'll go. You
beef.
stay.
So you would do.
Fine.
Sam,
What? I need the case files that your husband made up at the disappearances last year.
So go to the station and find it.
It's not there. I broke in and I looked, and it's gone.
Do you have any other family?
Family just slows you down.
Sam? Sam?
At least she's remembering bits, which is
You all right?
really not so good.
All right, let's see what you have.
Best guess? Came from Arachne.
You ever seen one?
No one has.
Arachne? Oh god. Oh no.
Then what do we even know about them?
Zip. Just a bunch of guesses and a
Arachne.
blurry picture on the side of a Greek vase.
Oh, I have severe arachnophobia. Oh. I hope it's like some cool spider creature,
So I gather we got no clue
but
how to
I'm
kill
also
this
scared
guy.
about
I
that.
guess we just go at it till something sticks.
I've made peace that he's dead. I have. I just want to know what happened.
I'm sure he died a hero.
I've missed this Sam so much. He's so. Oh, this is a Sam that I was like lusting after. As much as like season 6, episode 3 Sam. Oh, visually was great. Personality wise.
They all bang the same dude. You. It's you.
Oh god, there's a big ass spider web. I don't like it. Oh, I don't like it.
You get that every time you scratch that wall that you are playing Russian roulette?
Dean, I get you're worried, okay?
Yeah,
and I
it's-
know what you
you
think.
can't really help it,
but you
can
know
you,
what?
like-
It will or it won't. Sam, look, I'm starting to think that
human
that
instinct
I
to
might
be
have
like,
done some bad stuff here,
Itchy,
Dean.
itchy.
And so I don't care if it's dangerous. I have to set things right.
You sure about this?
The Arachne's been snacking on mid-30s guys. We need
Even
to
in this,
the demo.
Samuel looks
Yeah.
suspicious.
You're too old.
Oh, I do not like it. Honestly, it's like those awful feelings when you walk into a spider web. Like, always makes me feel. Oh, I'm shivering just thinking about it.
Poor bastard.
They're all still alive. Oh god, gross. Oh god, even the texture of it makes me feel sick. Stop it.
Roy.
I mean, sure. That was useless. Samuel.
You're gonna be okay. Just hang in. We're gonna get you some help.
I don't know about Arachne, but I do know about spiders. One brown recluse bite can kill you. This thing? Look at these guys. Poison's eating them alive. They're just dead men walking. What do you say?
Kill everyone.
Saying we put him out of his
Kind of guessed that, but it's not pleasant to think about. Maybe there's a way to save them.
Please.
You don't know.
Killing this thing saved a lot of lives. We couldn't have done it without you. You're a hero.
Jeez.
Roy?
Is Roy still alive?
What you did to Roy.
That was really high pitched.
Is it true?
I don't even know the microphone will pick that up. Oh. Nope. Dislike. Ugh. Oh. That's some of the severe arachnophobia. Oh god, it's the texture of that. I can feel it. I can feel it everywhere. I'm getting really itchy.
You gotta admit, I look good, Sam.
No, you don't. I wish you would stop showing us the spider
That
webs.
thing you threw me to.
Because it makes me feel a bit gross.
She was here to breed.
Yeah. That thing was playing the mating game, and I guess I fit her profile.
Oh.
Me and all those other poor bastards. By the time you pulled that trigger, I wasn't human.
Oh, so that's how he survived.
So after you left, well, we ran. Me, I
We?
hid for months, nearly starved. Taking all those girls you screwed. I was kicking so much sand in your eye, I couldn't figure out why you weren't getting it.
Just die. Might be nice. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's best for everybody involved, yeah? Better late than never, I suppose. Sweet.
We shouldn't have come back here.
But yeah, you did stop it, though.
Well, you did kill Spider-Man. Last year, all of it. None of it was you.
Let's be crystal clear, okay? It was me.
Sort of.
Did I get you anything?
I think anyone without a soul
What are you now, my waitress?
would do
Make you feel better,
really
don't be a
bad
bitch.
things, though.
If I did this here, then who knows how many other...
What is it happening?
Sammy,
Is the wall coming down?
Sammy, talk to me.
Well, that happened a lot faster than I thought it would do. Okay, that was my reaction to Supernatural Season 6, Episode 13, Unforgiven. And in a nutshell, my thoughts on the episode were... It was okay. It was okay. I think it's just the general premise of the episode, which is something that I'm sure Supernatural did in Season 2, which is... I'm sure there was an episode where Sam woke up in blood, covered in blood, wasn't sure what he'd done, and he had to piece together what he'd done within the past day, 2 days, 3 days, whatever it was. And I've seen that storyline done in a number of shows. But whereas, like the time loop episode in Season 3, I love a time loop episode. I always think they're really fascinating, entertaining, usually quite smart as well, like in how to get out of the time loop, and things like that. The general episode that I've seen in so many different TV shows of a character, and it's not even supernatural shows, it could happen in a procedural or any old kind of show, like a soap opera or whatever, but any sort of episode of a show where someone wakes up and doesn't remember what they've done, blah blah blah, and they have to go back and piece it together. It's just not my kind of vibe. That's why I don't really read books about that kind of thing, like thriller books, because the whole piecing together what I've just been through can be interesting if it's done a certain way, but more often than not, I just find it a bit repetitive in terms of, we'll meet someone, oh, do you not remember me? No. And I know this wasn't the case of Sam's woken up the next day covered in blood and doesn't remember what he's done. It was a year later, he's being called back to this town to investigate this case, and it turns out he's been there already a year ago and has to piece back what that old Sam did. But it's a similar basic premise of an episode. And so initially already I was just like, okay, I'm not like vastly invested. But then also because we were getting flashbacks to old Sam, which is so... I have some interesting things to say about that, which I'll talk about in a bit. But because I was spending a lot of time with old Sam, which I've just got rid of, Samuel, who I don't like, on top of an episode that's structured in a way that I don't find the most interesting usually, I was already not massively invested in the episode, in the plot line, and what was going on. But there were some cool parts to it. So I like the fact that by showing us the old Sam again, as much as I'm annoyed that we've only been back with a new Sam one episode and the next episode is all about the old Sam again, but by showing us the difference between the flashback Sam and the current day Sam, it really does emphasise the difference between the two characters and how important it is that he got his soul back, because not even just the dark things he did towards the end of the episode, but just who he is as a character, who he was, how the way he spoke, the way he was with people, the amount of women that he slept with, which, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with sleeping about, that's absolutely fine. But when you're on a case and you're, sticking it around the village, that could get messy, and, it caused these women to end up being a target for the Arachne. Not because of anything they'd done wrong, but because they were trying to get to Sam. But there was that, and then when we kind of realised that in the past timeline, the year ago, the Arachne kidnapped these 5 men, captured them in this kind of dock fishing shed place, warehouse, whatnot, and the old Sam killed the Arachne, all good, but then saw the 5 people in the cocoons, the cobwebs, which, grim, and just killed them all. Now, if you watched X-Files, Season 1, Episode 19, 18-ish, it's called Darkness Falls, if you ever want to watch it. The guys in the cocoons really give me vibes of that episode, which also makes me feel very, very uneasy. So the guys in the spiderwebs were still alive, and so Sam decided to kill them all because they've been poisoned by the spider, whatever. Now, in hindsight, he was right to kill them because the guy did say I'd already turned into a monster by that point. but by shooting him in the head and burning the place down, it did nothing anyway. It was still quite dark, and I feel like our Sam would have tried to save them, to try and find a cure. Speak to Bobby, speak to this person, speak to this person. Can we find a way to stop this thing from happening to them? Ultimately, no, they couldn't. But it was still dark watching him like shoot all those people. And then we saw in the very beginning of the episode that as he tried to escape town, I was 100% convinced he'd killed that cop. He beat the crap out of him, and I'm sure the last punch, his neck snapped, so like I'm sure we heard a cracking sound. So I was convinced that cop was dead, and the whole part of the episode was going to be about him being brought back to this town where he'd killed this cop and dealing with that sort of guilt. It wasn't really, but there was other guilt to go with what he'd done, the women he'd slept with, which are now targets to get to him, and the Arachne and whatnot. The Arachne as a creature were fine. It does lead into my thing, which I need to just get on board with, which is that pretty much everything's going to look like a human. Like, I want some big spider creature. I would have loved that. But I know that's a bit outside of Supernatural's normal image of things, of monsters. But I think it would have been cool. But then when the Arachne jumped down from the tree and it was just a woman with a bit of like a grotesque skin thing going on and the dots in the eyes. Again, I was like, okay, another creature that just looks like a human. Great. And I get it, because it kind of, you infect a human and it kind of turns them into a monster. It does make sense. Please let me know in the comments of this episode. I mean, Patreon will get there first probably, but YouTube as well. Do we ever see any more creatures that are like what you'd see in something on other shows like X-Files, Buffy, whatever, Charmed, any other sci-fi shows that are more, they don't just look like a human, but with a bit of a makeup on? If not, then I'll just have to get used to that and move on from it and not talk about it again, because I'm annoying myself the amount of times I say it. But if there are some to come, great. If not, let me know and I'll just suck it up and carry on. But there was still some even though I was like, ugh, they look like human again. They were still kind of grotesque. Like the eyes looked a bit gross, a bit spider-like, and the skin deformities and the spider webs. And they could have done more with the design, even changing the teeth maybe, or change the eyes so they were like typical spider eyes, where it's like so many different eyes rather than just the two that we could see. And maybe done that and made some sort of difference to the hair, or have something growing out the head that's more, I don't know, made them look more spider-like. If you want to stick to the human design, that's fine, but there's something, I would have maybe gone a bit further with the design of like the makeup and the prosthetics to make them look a bit more like an arachnid than they did. So they were okay, I guess. I'm a little confused. Again, clarify down below. It did say when you shot us in the head and you burned the place down, we ran. So does that mean that there was 5 guys that were kidnapped, right? There was Roy, who we just saw get killed. Does that mean there's 4 other arachnes out there somewhere to come back in another episode? Obviously, I presume there's going to be more arachnes in the world anyway, rather than just the one that we saw. But does that mean they escaped? They out there? Because I don't think that was very clear to me. It seemed like they escaped and they were just like, cool, let's kill Roy, end of story. And that was that. Again, didn't really clarify, again, where the women went. He just said they're out in the wind. Does that just mean he killed them all? Or what? Are they just dead? He captured them to kill them, to get Sam, to make Sam look guilty, but also to get Sam to come to him for his revenge plan for killing him. And I felt a bit conflicted about the woman, his wife, because initially, totally get why she blamed him. All signs pointed to that Sam was the one that killed these people. He came back into town, angry at him, blah, blah, blah. Let him go because I trusted him. But then once Roy came back as this spider creature, the conflict kind of lay because, yes, he shot Roy in the head, didn't try and save him. He just went, boom, it's too late. But then Roy did admit, yeah, I was already a monster, that's why I survived the gunshot in the head. So the fact that he was shot in the head and still was alive enough to come back to her house as a spider creature, and she was still siding with him initially, really confused me. Again, maybe I missed something, because I'm sure reactors have heard before, because we have to talk over the stuff. Every now and again we'll miss something. But yeah, it just seemed odd to me that he would side, like if my boyfriend got killed, disappeared and died, and he came back and was like, this guy shot me. My first question would be, why do you look the way you are? You're a spider creature, whatever. And I'm not necessarily going to trust what you say because you're a creature of some description. But anyway, she sided with them. Eventually, checked the boys out. Was on their side. All good. Helped Sam get out. Enough time to behead him. It was all good. But the episode as a whole, before I mention the ending, was just... It felt very slow. I don't know if you agree or not. Maybe it was the structure of the episode because we were going back in time and forward in time a lot. It felt very disjointed. But I understand why it was the way it was. But also, it just felt like quite a slow episode. Whilst we were dealing with Sam trying to face up to what he'd done in the past and the way he was and remembering certain bits and whatnot, that was interesting. Just as a whole, for me, it was just a bit too slow and a bit too slow at getting to the point. And when it got to the point, I was just not that invested in the characters, minus obviously Sam and Dean as always. But I'm hoping that I'm not alone in this because I'm sometimes I am. But for me, this was just a bit of a disappointing episode overall. After I actually quite enjoyed the last one, I got the promise of Mother. Now I knew that Mother wasn't necessarily going to be in it straight away because they want to carry it on for the whole rest of the season at least, probably. And so they're going to drip feed it little bits here and there. And then there'll be an episode in a few episodes' time maybe about Mother. And we'll find out more about it toward the end and whatnot. But yeah, I was still a bit disappointed with this episode as a whole. Thought it could have been more interesting than it was. But the ending was interesting, where they were in the motel room. Sam had obviously remembered various things about the past year, and then he collapsed and was in a lot of pain. And we went into his brain, whatever. We saw that he was on fire. Obviously, the wall is coming down. Whether it's come down completely or just partially, we'll have to wait and see next episode. But also, it happened a lot quicker than I thought it would do. Like, when we had this whole wall put in, because of the nature of TV shows, the wall's put in at the halfway point of the season. So when's the wall going to come down? Towards the end of the season. That's kind of just the general-ish narrative that you would go with, narrative flow. So, for the wall to be there for 2 episodes, and to probably come down that quickly, surprised me a lot, actually. I mean, great move, because it means that we're going to deal with the after effects of that probably pretty quickly. But also, I'm just really surprised that it happened so quickly. But it does make sense in regards to the episode. It was about Sam looking back on the past year, remembering certain things, clawing away at that wall of trying to remember what happened and what he'd done and the people that he'd slept with and the way Samuel was. God, I can't see Samuel again. I just don't like the guy. I mean, the fact that he went along with the certain things that Sam did. And yeah, we did see in some of the episodes in the first half of the season that he was cautious of Sam, didn't trust Sam totally, was very wary of Sam. All great, all good. But ultimately, he still went along with a lot of what Sam did and just let it happen. He let the cop get beaten up on the side of the road, didn't stop to help him. He let Sam just shoot those people in the head, didn't try and stop them. And all these various things that Sam just kind of... Sam had no soul, so his excuse is understandable. I don't agree with it, but, you know, you get that he's got no soul, he doesn't see the right from the wrong, or he does and he just doesn't care. You've got no soul, literally, that's fine. But Samuel does have a soul. He should know better. So seeing the wall come down, super interesting. And I'm just curious to see where this goes in the next episode. I'm hoping we don't see much more of old Sam, like from the first half of the season, because I get it. He had no soul. He did a lot of bad things. Sam is back now. We've dealt with the story, dealing with the after effects of what he'd done. Don't really want to touch that story again, but maybe they will. I'm not sure. But I want to see more about Mother, but also excited to see about Sam and what's happening now that we saw that the wall is coming down. He was on fire inside his mind. Is he going to be out for the next episode? Is he going to be incapacitated? Is the soul going to disappear again? I hope not. Or what? I don't know, but I feel like he's going to bring Castiel back into it as well, because he was the one that put the soul back in and did say, you shouldn't have done that, but maybe he's going to be able to help somehow. Maybe Death's going to come back into it to help. I really don't know, but I am excited to watch the next episode to find out what happens. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. As always, my name is Scott. Leave me some comments down below. Let me know what you thought of Unforgiven. Did you think it was a great episode? Did you not? Were you the same as me? It was a little slow, a little disappointing. Probably for me, one of the weaker episodes of the season so far. Maybe there's more to come, I don't know. I hope not. But that was just down there for me, I think, of the season of episodes. I don't know why. There's a dog barking a lot outside. Shush. It didn't like something that it saw, that's for sure. Yeah, I don't know. It was just... It wasn't a bad episode. Just a bit boring, I think, as a whole. Yeah. I think so. So yeah, subscribe to my channel if you're not already. Please take a look at the Patreon link down below. The support over there honestly means the world to me. And you get the full reactions and early access to them a couple of months ahead of YouTube. I'm trying to get them further and further ahead slowly as well. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care. And I'll see you all very soon for the next episode of Season 6 of Supernatural. Bye, guys. Take care and stay safe.